What's up, guys? Welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another versus slash storytime video where I take on the hardest contents in the global version of the game, and of course we do a little bit of story time afterwards after we do speak about or talk about the actual fight itself. In this video we are going to take on the Reno EVENT LUFENIA fight, and before we do start, like and subscribe because it does help the channel. Really do appreciate it. So without further ado, let's start this video off by talking about the fight. So this has been I guess hyped up as one of the hardest LUFENIA fights that we've had or will ever get at this point in time, at least in the global version of the game. And there are two more hard LUFENIAs coming back to back as well, which is going to be Sephiroth's LUFENIA LDBT LUFENIA fight, and then Kieran's LUFENIA fight as well. Now, honestly speaking, I am one of those people who actually don't try to look too much into the future regarding fights. I look at banners, but I don't necessarily look at the fights. I don't look at YouTube. I try to do my own thing and try to come up with my own thing when it comes to these kinds of fights, because I do want to be surprised, even though it's a little bit, you know, I mean, we have a whole timeline in JP. We would know what's coming, and you can technically research who you need basically for particular fights and stuff like that, but I tend not to do that. So that's first and foremost. So a lot of things I do say when it comes to the versus videos are from my own experience, right? So I can't really give you too much in-depth stuff, but personally speaking, I didn't have much issues with the fight itself. There were definitely some deaths, and I think part of it was my fault in like trying to find out what the best way to deal with this fight, and how to deal with the LUFENIA orbs, obviously, and the mechanics of the fight. So first and foremost, I guess the biggest thing here is the mist. And I think it's more problematic than the orb itself. The orb itself is pretty easy to pause. All you need is like 3 debuffs on the enemy, and that's pretty much it. And then the way it works is basically they do still have a recast ability, and this recast ability basically will remove their buffs, or sorry, their debuffs, and remove your buffs as well. And for the most part, I noticed that you can't get any buffs up as long as you have that debuff on you. So the idea here is obviously to delay, and that is something that you have to do, but you have to do it in a timely manner. I think that's the best way to put it, because the mist basically will reduce the amount of brave and HP damage they are going to be taking by a significant amount. I noticed over like maybe 50% or more reduced damage. So what you want to do in this case is let them have a turn, but that turn doesn't necessarily mean you have to take hits. You can actually paralyze them. So Shantoto works, as you guys can see. She is one of the characters I brought along. I think I would have gotten away with not having Gladio here. I brought Gladio along because the first couple of turns they do hit you pretty hard, and the counter helps, and Gladio does inflict a debuff as well. So but I think you don't need Gladio for this fight. I think if you have maybe say another damage dealer or a healer or a brave battery, would have probably been better for me, but you know, I brought Gladio, so that's the end of it. So characters that can paralyze are definitely going to be very, very helpful when it comes to the mist. Basically what you want to do is do your damage when there's no mist, and if the mist comes up, you need to paralyze them, let them have a turn, and then you can do your damage again. I have noticed that the mists do come up after 80%, like at 79%, I think it comes up, and then it comes up again later down the track, less than 50%, and then if you kill one of them, they will have the miss once again. So that's how I got around with the mist. And the Lufenia orbs, like I said, I mean, they can come up, I think it's up on the first, and then it'll come back again. I do believe it's around 50% or something like that, or less than 50% it comes back. But again, the Lufenia orb wasn't really the issue. I didn't really have any problems with that because it was so easy to like just stop it. But you obviously don't want the bosses to have a turn when their recast ability is up, because it's really going to do a lot of damage, and delaying is a tactic to a certain extent, and I think that's what you have to juggle with in this Lufenia. And I can understand why a lot of people from the JP version, for JP players, were saying this is one of the hardest, because if you see this for the first time and you don't have the right characters, it's just very difficult to circumvent around the mechanics. It's like, okay, I need to delay you, but if I delay you too much, I can't really do any damage to you. I'm gonna run out of abilities, and eventually you're gonna kill me. But at the same time, you're like, okay, I need to paralyze you and let you have a turn, and yeah, it's a whole mess of turn shenanigans and turn management. And I think that's the best way I can really describe this fight. Is it's just turn management. You need to know when you have to delay and when you don't have to delay. And I'm sure there's a lot of videos out there with guides and stuff like that, and I know a lot of people are talking about this, but I try not to look into the fights themselves, because to a certain extent, as a global player, a majority of the time, I do want to be surprised. I don't want to know everything about the game already, and it just sucks the fun out of it, So I do look into banners, but that's the extent of it. I try my best not to. So if you are looking into trying to finish this fight well, I can tell you that there are a few ways to go around it. You have Shantoto, once again, I said, can paralyze at command. And then you got Raijin. You do have to play around with the turns with Raijin, but he does have paralysis, and he is a level 80 character at this point in time. Then you have Edward. A lot of people who have pulled for Edward. I see a lot of people saying sleep works, so there's that. And of course, if you manage to get Reno, then Reno is going to be very helpful in reducing the Brave and HP damage. Specifically when they do their recast ability or something along those lines. Make sure you don't take any damage. So other than that, there's really not much else to say and talk about the fight. It's a lot of turn management. I think that is the best way to describe this fight. Alright, so now that's out of the way, we'll do a little bit of story time, right? So if you are struggling on this fight, I do highly suggest just pulling on Reno. If you have seen my pull video, it was pretty sad. Now, I actually did I did all the, the event stuff. I did get all the tickets and stuff, and I did use the tickets as well to try and get more Renos, EX and LD. I even did 2 extra multi-pulls, but what I got? 115 CP of Reno and 135 CP of who was it? General Leo. It was a pretty sad moment. I gotta say. I mean, it can't get any worse than that, you know. And I think out of the tickets, I got another Rosa EX from a gold orb. So I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think the banner for me is pretty much cursed. I do notice that sometimes nothing just comes up, you know, nothing just comes up. And unfortunately, I think I will have to pass on this. I mean, I already broke my rule, which I tend to always do. I broke the rule that I said I'll just spend 100 tickets, and maybe, you know, if I do get, you know, his LD out of the tickets, I might just use gems to pull his EX. Unfortunately, yeah, I broke the rules. I used 10k gems, and what did that get me? Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Now, I know Reno is going to be very useful again on the Sephiroth Lufenia fight. Again, I haven't seen the fight itself, but I just see people, you know, sometimes in the comments and stuff, you know, Reno is going to be useful in this fight, and that's all I can really tell you, because I tend not to look into the fight itself. Again, I do want to be surprised, even if it's just a little tiny bit, right? Yeah, so that is basically my story time. It is a short story time because there's really not much to talk about at this point in time. But again, I just want to remind you guys, if you haven't seen my pool video, like, go ahead and check that out. And I did mention there that I am going to be starting night shift again in the next 2 weeks time, and I will be on night shift for 2 weeks. That will be basically Christmas week and New Year's week, and even after New Year's I'm still like on night shift. So yeah, so expect the video quality, or I don't know, at this point, like I said on that video, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing in regards to releasing videos, and how much I can pre-record a lot of my videos, or a lot of the should you pull videos. So I do apologize for that in advance. Now I might as well, because I know it's not gonna be great. But hopefully you guys still keep on watching, and click that like and subscribe, and share this video if you find this video at least a little bit entertaining and a little bit of helpfulness, if you can even call it that. I would really appreciate it. And again, you know, I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given me. You can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Monchkinz Gaming. You can ask me direct questions if you have any questions about the game itself. I do try to answer the best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to look it up for you sometimes. But you know, I'll try to be as helpful as I can to you. And yeah, leave down in the comments below what your team is for this fight. Did you struggle? Was it easy? Were you prepared for this? Let me know all that in the comments down below. This is Monchkinz logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.